Let's do it. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Solo Podcast. It's just me tonight. That's what you get. Just me. But that's all good. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about. Remember last time we was talking about the Theenergybus and the first rule to the Theenergybus? Well, I figured I'd put on some good field energy music for you to talk about rule number 2. But before we get into all that, I got to tell y'all about my diet. For real, y'all, I'm struggling. I need some good vibes coming through this video because this whole diet thing is tough, okay? I've cut out all kinds of sugars and carbs, and man, it's hard. But, and this could loop into what we're talking about, I got to stay focused on that end in mind, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what's going to come of it. And this is perfect because it loops right into what we're going to be talking about today. I got to stay focused on losing that weight. I know what I'm going to look like when I get done. I'm going to be shredded. Maybe not shredded like abs and all that, but I'm going to look better than what I did before I started, you know? So I have a vision. Which leads us into rule number 2. This is perfect. But anyways, this diet's crazy, okay? I'm on this diet. I've already lost a little bit of weight, probably almost 15 pounds, which is crazy. And I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping good. So just give me some good vibes through the YouTube channel here and just leave a comment saying you can do it or something. But anyways, let's go back to last week where we talked about rule number 1. Which was, you're the driver of your bus. And I got my notes right here. But you're the driver of your bus, guys. We learned that you're in control of your life or whatever that may be, right? We talked about that. And this week, we're going to talk about rule number 2, okay? And I told you rule number 2 would kind of loop into what we're talking about as far as this diet. So listen, rule number 2, desire, vision, and focus move your bus in the right direction. Desire, vision, and focus move your bus in the right direction. What is desire, you may say? Like, I don't even know what desire is. Desire is just wanting it. You got to want it. The vision is, obviously, you know where you're going to be going, right? You got to visualize that. I was reading this story on this pro golfer. I don't know what year it was, but he would, like, visualize every time he hit the ball, you know, where it was going to go, how a swing was going to. He ended up to be like number 1 in the golf people. I'm not a golf guy, but I was just reading the story and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of falls into what we're talking about. But it just talks about his vision and him being focused on the shot. He would close his eyes and visualize how he was going to tee off, how that ball was going to come off the club. The whole point is, not only do you have to desire what you want, you got to visualize it and then focus on it. And if you can see it, you can create it, right? If you can see what you want, whether that be with your business, is kind of like how we were talking. Let's put a business in perspective. Well, let's put your life in perspective. That's even more important. Let's put your life in perspective. If you can see it, you can create it. If you want that better life for you and your family, you got to visualize that. Read another story about Jim Carrey. He would pull up, before he even was like famous, he would pull up to like these like rich houses in this rich neighborhood. He would just park there and he would look and he would visualize himself there years later. And he left and I think he was talking to Oprah about it. This was back when Oprah was big, right? He was talking to her about how He would pull up in the subdivision, something he could not afford at the time. I mean, he was broke. This was before he had agents, before he had movies and all that stuff. And he would just visualize him being in that lifestyle. And he said that he would leave like feeling good and just knowing where he was headed made him work a little bit harder. He stayed focused on that end in mind. You know what I mean? So if you can see it, you can create it. If you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. I know where I'm going. What are you going to do to get there? That's the real question. That's kind of what you got to ask yourself. So if you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. What does that mean? I'll tell you what I think it might mean. And this is just my opinion, guys. We're all entitled to our own. But let's look at it again. If you have a vision, then you also have the power to make it happen. Pretty much saying you can make it happen if you want. What are you going to do to get there? Are you going to put in the work? Okay, I know where I want to be. Let's put our lives. I know where I want to be. I know where I want my family. I'm visualizing it. I'm focused on my hard work. I'm focused on the vision. I'm focused on the destination. And I'm going to do what I can to get there. I'm going to do everything I can. Just like this whole diet thing. It's like dieting is, man, it stinks. It's hard. But knowing what's on the other end of this hardship, as far as like my battle with, I'm going to say my battle with food. I love food. I love trying new things. I just love, it's not that I just overly eat all the time. I'm just not picky. I'm not picky. I love trying different things. And, you know, it's caught up a little bit. But I've already lost some weight, which I'm proud of. But I know where I'm headed with this diet, is what I'm trying to say. I know where I'm going with it. And you could be putting that with anything. You could put it with your business. Desire, vision, and focus will get you there. You got to want it. Whatever it is, you got to want it. Back to my notes. It's all about focus. The more we focus on something and the more we think about something, the more that something shows up in our lives. Let me put it to you this way. Has anybody bought a new car? We bought a new car last year. Let me tell you this story. We bought a new car last year. It was a 2022 Kia Sorento. It was like the color was non-existent at the time. It was wolf gray. We saw it and we're like, that is it. That's the one we want. I mean, it was slick, boy. It still is slick to this day, you know, because I'm taking care of it. I'm focused on it. I know what I want. I'm cleaning the bugs off every day. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. But what I'm trying to say is, no, I've never seen this color before. Wolf gray, I'm like, man, it's in the lot saying, pick me, pick me. I've never seen it. So we get it. We're riding in it. We're driving it. We're washing it daily because that's what you do when you get a new car. You wash it every day. Probably shouldn't, but you do. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is now that I'm focused on that in particular vehicle, that color of vehicle, I'm starting to see this color everywhere. Wolf gray keeps popping up. Maybe it's called like midnight gray or something with Toyota or whatever. But I see trucks in it. I see cars. I see this color everywhere. It's kind of like that flat gray look, you know, and there's these flat tans that are super sharp looking. But what I'm trying to say is the more we pay attention to what it is, the more that shows up in our lives, right? That's what I'm talking about. And what we put out, what we put our energy and attention on, it starts showing up more in our lives. That's what I was telling you about with this whole vehicle. So the more you focus on what it is you're trying to do, whether it's, you know, in the book, The Theenergybus, he's trying to build this light bulb. This, you know, he works for this company and he's trying to build his best light bulb. Everybody on his team, though, is just, you know, he just has a bad look on it. Like, you know, they're just not working as hard and this and that. And not only do you have to have a vision for it, it's got to be positive, right? It's got to be a positive vision about what's going to happen. And me and Brian Tucker, I had him on the podcast a couple weeks back, talk about having a positive attitude towards this crappy vehicle I had. Never had an issue out of it. And he makes a perfectly good point. It's because I didn't want an issue out of it. I just simply wanted a sweet, smooth car I paid $1,000 for. And it was, I probably got a model car in here that's probably way better than that car was. But since I was positive about the situation, positivity came out of it, is what I'm trying to get at. Again, you guys know I don't like to read, but this book, I love it. It's called The Theenergybus by John Gordon. And this book has really changed my outlook on not only my job, my life, my family. You could put this stuff to anything. If you're breathing, it'll benefit you, I promise. Just take the time, check it out. It's John Gordon's book, The Theenergybus. There will always be potholes. We talked about that too, that, you know, there's still going to be obstacles come up, right? That's going to kind of deter you off your path. Even though if your vision and you're focused on that straight ahead, it doesn't matter. You're still going to come across things that, you know, may throw you off track. You might have to swerve a little bit. You might have to swerve to the left, swerve to the right to miss whatever obstacle's coming. But guess what? It's what you do when you get there. You going to let it hit you straight on, or are you going to adjust? You going to slow down when you see it coming, move to the right, and then boom, zoom right by it? Because that's what I'm going to do, especially if you're focused on what your end in mind is. Positively focused. So you can't just be negative focused about it, because then you're going to hit everything there is to hit on whatever road you're on. You got to be positive. You got to be positive. And not just be positive, you got to stay positive through that whole thing. It doesn't matter. And I don't want to talk too much about positivity, because that's a little bit about rule number 3. But man, being positive in whatever situation you're in is the key to life, no matter what. I do my very best job at whatever situation I'm in. I try to find the good in it. I try to find the positive in it. And sometimes that gets on other people's nerves, because they're like, don't you see the problem here? I see the problem, but I don't want to dwell on it. I want to think positive and figure out what we can do next, you know, to fix the situation. That's just me. That's just my thinking. And if I could encourage any of you guys, you need to think positive about whatever it is you're going in, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's job, marriage, you know, just think positive. Be positive. Think positive. Positive results will happen, which leads us into this. Positive energy helps keep the bus moving with forward momentum. Positive energy keeps the bus moving with forward momentum. Why? Because you're positive, baby. No one wants to be riding with a negative Nancy. Get out of my car. This is the positive peeps mobile, you know what I'm saying? So get out. If you ain't positive, I don't want you on my team. And 9 times out of 10, what's crazy is all the negative people kind of weed themselves out regardless. It happens. Positive people, and get this, if you're positive, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract those other positive people, because like attracts like. If you're negative about a situation, I mean, it's easy to be negative. It's so easy. It's so easy to be negative. But you got to do a little extra work to be positive. You got to hold your head up a little bit more high. But you making that change, you choosing to be positive instead of negative, that's going to make everybody behind you kind of be like, you know what, maybe this is possible. Maybe we should be positive too. And then you got 5 people behind you saying, hey, this is doable. Then you got maybe 1 or 2 people left on the bus that are just negative. Well, guess what? They're going to get off. They're going to get off at the next stop, because like attracts like. Positivity, positive energy helps you overcome obstacles and challenges to create success. That's what I'm saying. You got to find the positive in any situation. Find the positive, because that's what it's about, man. There's no reason to be negative. I mean, if you do anything, find the positive in it, because in the long run, it's just going to help you out. It's helped me out. I've used it. Man, I've been so short-handed at work. When I was a manager of a restaurant chain, I worked for them for so many years. When I was a manager, there were so many times that we were so short-staffed. I mean, in the industry that I'm in now, there's so many times that we're so short-handed. But guess what? I'm going to have fun while I'm taking care of these customers. I'm going to get everybody on my team back here. All three of them, because we're short-staffed. We're gonna have the best time taking care of these customers. Positive energy keeps the bus moving in the right direction. And that's going to get everybody hyped up. That's going to make this ride so much smoother. You ever been in the car and fell asleep and you're like, man, we're here already? We're here? You wake up, you're like, man, I just feel like we hit the road and we're here. That's what positive energy does. It goes by that fast. Negative energy, it's one of those trips that's just like, man, it just taking forever to get there. You know, when you're going to somewhere, it's always just takes so long because you're anxious to get there. But when you're coming home, it's like, man, we just got here quick. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're talking about. I just thought it. I mean, does anybody else think that? It's so weird. Like, we can be going on vacation and it takes forever to get there. Like going to Florida, even 12-hour drive to Florida takes forever. 12 hours seems like 24 hours. I mean, you're on the road nonstop all the way down there. But whenever you're coming home, it's like, dang, that 12-hour trip just turned into a 6.5-hour trip. I mean, it just goes by so smooth. It's so quick. It's weird. I just want to know if anybody else felt that way. Let's see here. Trust, faith, and enthusiasm, purpose and joy, and happiness. That the positive energy to inspire and lead others. You gotta trust people. You gotta have faith in people. You got to have enthusiasm. You got to have a purpose, joy, and just be happy, man. No one wants to be negative. I don't want you on my team if you're negative, because we positive over here. I've always been positive no matter what. I could be broke, be positive. I could be out of job and be positive. Those things that are happening, though, being broke, out of a job, whatever it may be, the divorce you're going through, the drug addiction you're on, whatever that is, whatever that negative is in your life, you just got to do the right thing. Be focused on where you want to go. Have that desire. Have that vision. Look, you could be the driver of your bus, but if you don't have a desire, vision, or focus, what's the point of even being the driver? You don't know where you're going. You could have all those three. But, I'm sorry, if you don't have all those three and you're the driver, it doesn't matter. At that point, you're better off letting, I don't know, Sally take the wheel, because you don't know where you're going. I wanted to talk about rule number 2, and that's what we covered: desire, vision, and focus. Move your bus in the right direction. You got to have those 3 things, along with a couple others, and being positive while you're doing it. Put it towards anything. Put it towards that job you're wanting. Put it towards that lifestyle you're wanting to live. Put it to that girl you want to marry. Put it to the drugs you're trying to stop, the weight you're trying to lose. You could put this to anything. Leave a comment down below in the video and let us know what you're focused on. Are you focused on that lifestyle? Are you focused on cutting that weight? Are you focused on being the honor roll student? All of our kid listeners out there, are you focused on making A's and B's on that report card next year? Because school's out, baby. It's time to regroup, recuperate, and let's do something different. I mean, we got to stay focused. We got to have that want. We got to have that desire, guys. And we got to have a vision, because without all those, we don't know where we're going, right? Man, I love this stuff. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And it's always so fun talking to y'all, for real, because you just get on here and you get to know me a little bit more. You're like, man, that dude's kind of smart, or maybe not. I don't know. You make the decision. Hey, guys, don't forget we got merch over on theawesomelawsons.com. We got all kinds of cool stuff. We got shirts, t-shirts, hats, hoodies. I think. No, we don't have bags. We got jackets. We got tumblers. We got, like, writing pads. We got stickers. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Regardless, if you want to join the family and look awesome like Cadence and Eli, you need to go pick up your merch, theawesomelawsons.com. We're going to have the link below. Also, we be posting on YouTube like all the time, so do us a favor, give this video a big old thumbs up for me, and hit the subscribe button and tap the bell notification. That way you know every single time we post a brand new video, okay? We also post on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And as always, all you gotta do is Google that name, The Awesome Lawsons, and all that cool stuff pops up. Instagram is the.awesome.lawsons. So if you're not following there, we post pictures of the kids and all that cool stuff. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of beautiful people here on the podcast, but unfortunately tonight it's just me. So we'll see you next time. Stay awesome and stay sweet. Y'all take care. We love you.